A disease that has been largely absent from the United States for decades is making a comeback, and it's happening right here on the South Plains. Coming up, we'll let you know the latest numbers from an outbreak that is gaining national attention.
A series of programs that have helped thousands of Texas Tech students work their way through college to a degree is being celebrated on campus this week. Find out which federal grants are still assisting Red Raiders nearly 60 years after their inception.
Government efficiency is once again in the news, with claims of fraud in the Social Security system, along with fears regarding the safety of flight in the United States. Kiley Phillips has the latest on those stories and more in today's edition of MCTV's Inside the Issues.
And a run of cold temperatures has been rough on students, including Texas Tech athletes who had hoped to stay hot on the court. MCTV's Allie Scott has a wrap-up of this week's athletic action, along with the preview of what's to come in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Elene Khajishvili.
And I'm Chebeir. A disease that is rarely diagnosed here in the United States is making national headlines as the number of cases continue to rise.
The news is causing lots of concern here in the Lubbock area since the epicenter of the outbreak is only an hour outside of the city limits. On Tuesday, the Texas Department of State Health Services reported that 58 cases of the measles have been identified on the South Plains over the last 3 weeks. The vast majority of those cases are being reported in Gaines County, which is just over 60 miles southwest of Lubbock. But Tuesday's report also included cases identified in 5 surrounding counties, including one here in Lubbock. 10 other cases have also been reported in Linn and Terry counties, which are directly south of Lubbock County. Almost all of the cases have been diagnosed in children from birth to age 17 who were unvaccinated. However, at least 4 people have stated that they were vaccinated before contracting the disease. Of the 58 cases reported on Tuesday, 13 people had been hospitalized. And beyond the South Plains, 8 cases of the measles were also reported in Lee County, New Mexico earlier this week. Lee County is just across the state line from Gaines County. Between both Texas and New Mexico, the current count of 66 cases makes up for almost a quarter of the number of total reports in the U.S. last year. In 2024, 285 cases of the measles were diagnosed across all 50 states. Due to the outbreak, vaccinations are being offered at various clinics and healthcare centers across the South Plains. Here on campus, vaccines are available through Student Health Services. Any student can receive a vaccine, but an appointment is required. Call 743-2848 to schedule a vaccination or speak to a healthcare provider if you believe you have been exposed to the disease.
Students here at Texas Tech have more than 150 academic programs to choose from when pursuing a degree. And soon, the Whitaker College of Engineering will be offering one more. Yesterday afternoon, Texas Tech officials announced a major donation from John and Paige Bick. The $5 million gift will be going directly to the College of Engineering to revive the construction engineering technology program here at the university. John is a graduate of Tech's previous CET program, receiving his degree in 1989 before the program was dissolved. Construction engineering has continued to be an option for students, even after CET was no longer in the university catalog. But the CONE program is primarily designed for graduates wanting to work their way into leadership positions in the industry. CET focuses on more practical education, including hands-on opportunities to learn construction concepts. The $5 million donation will be used for scholarships, faculty hires, lab upgrades, and other needs to establish the program. Currently, construction engineering technology is working its way through the university's approval process before it is officially back on the list of degree plans available to students.
Many students at Texas Tech credit their academic success to specific people, groups, or programs that have helped them during their college career. And yesterday, one department brought attention to a set of programs that have not only helped Red Raiders obtain their degree, but also helped them get on campus in the first place. Throughout this week, the Office of Campus Access and Engagement is hosting a series of events to celebrate Trio Week. Yesterday, a session was held at the Student Enrichment Center to celebrate the legacy and history of TRIO programs. TRIO is a group of federal programs that started in 1964 that were aimed at potential students who struggled to go to college. There are a total of 8 TRIO programs, and Texas Tech currently has grants for 4 of them: Upward Bound, STEM Upward Bound, Student Support Services, and the McNair Scholars programs. All of the programs are aimed at first-generation, disabled or low-income students, providing support to help them get into college and eventually earn a degree. The different programs are designed for high school, incoming, and current students. John Kreider, the Senior Director for Tech's TRIO programs, says anyone can stop by to see if they are eligible to apply.
Our offices are in Doak Hall. We're in Doak 108 and Doak 114, and they can talk to one of our directors or one of our student assistants. We can get them the application, we can see their eligibility and what their needs are, and then we can help match them with what program best suits their goals and their needs.
Yesterday's event started at 11 a.m. and included a presentation by Kreider regarding the history of the TRIO program. Attendees also had the chance to enjoy free pizza and drinks as they learned more about TRIO. If you didn't make it out to Wednesday's event, you can learn more about the specific TRIO programs available here at Texas Tech through the Office of Campus Engagement's website by using the link listed on your screen.
The new administration continues to make headlines during the first 100 days, and the Texas governor visits D.C. for the second time in 2 weeks.
Kiley Phillips joins us in the studio for this week's edition of MCTV's Inside the Issues. Kiley?
Thanks, Elene and Aaron. You've seen the news and read the headlines, and you may be asking yourself, are all these dead people really receiving Social Security? Well, President Trump and Elon Musk have made claims that they suspect that tens of millions of dead people have been receiving Social Security. Experts, however, are saying that this is probably a misunderstanding of an aged and outdated database. The Social Security Administration, or SSA database, currently lists every single Social Security number ever issued, including deceased individuals without an official date of death. According to the agency's statistics, of the 67 million people who receive Social Security, roughly 0.1% are over the age of 100. Social Security has made improper payments, but according to reports, it's only 1% of the time. The agency issues $1 trillion a year, and the inspector's reports show that between 2015 and 2022, $71.8 billion were made in improper payments. This isn't the first time Musk has had to backtrack on claims made from a misunderstanding of information found through Doge. Other statements that have since been corrected include the claim that $50 million worth of condoms was sent to the Gaza Strip by U.S. aid, and that $8 billion were saved after canceling a Homeland Security contract. A second check found that that number was actually only $8 million. Governor Abbott made his second visit to Washington, D.C. in the last 2 weeks to urge Congress to pay back the $11.1 billion the state spent on border security. Abbott met with the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and says he feels confident that Congress will approve his request. Abbott's proposal comes with a deal benefiting the federal government in exchange for the reimbursement. In exchange for the money back, Texas is offering the federal government 50 miles of constructed border walls and 20 miles of planned construction, as well as 4,000 jail cells to detain illegal immigrants and 2,400 beds at 2 new military bases the state built, which would house U.S. troops and federal agents. In an interview with the Texas Tribune, Abbott said, "This is a payment for real estate assets and improvements provided by the state of Texas as payment for services rendered by the state of Texas that benefits everybody in the United States of America." Congress has not approved the funds to be sent back yet, and the discussion is ongoing. Several hundred Aviation Authority employees have been fired in the last week. Just under 400 employees were laid off, including those hired for FAA radar, landing, and navigational aid maintenance. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said that the firings do not include air traffic controllers and critical safety personnel, and that they would look into whether or not the eliminated positions included personnel who were responsible for critical safety functions. Reports show that prior to the cuts, the FAA was already struggling with understaffing, especially in controllers, which is leading to concerns over aviation safety following recent accidents. In 2025, there have been 87 aviation accidents according to the National Transportation Safety Board data. This number is less than the number of accidents in 2024 from January 1st to February 19th. However, the fatalities this year have been significantly greater. There have been 42 fatalities compared to the 18 in 2024. The move to make cuts as aviation accidents continue has caused many to question the efficiency of this decision. That was a look inside the issues you should pay attention to this week. I'll see you next Thursday. Back to you, Elene and Aaron.
Thanks, Kylie. The Texas Tech campus has been experiencing extreme weather since a cold front moved into the area on Tuesday night. Recorded temperatures have been below freezing for more than 60 hours.
Yesterday started off with temperatures in the single digits, but there was also another surprise as students headed off to morning classes. Some light snowfall fell across the Lubbock area early Wednesday morning. The dry flakes created a white blanket across the Texas Tech campus, making it feel a lot more like Christmas than the 6th week of spring classes. Light flurries continued into the early afternoon hours, but most of the snow melted off before sunset. Luckily, roads and walkways were not affected by the light precipitation, and there were no school delays or cancellations across the city.
Although we haven't seen any more snow today, it's still very cold outside, but will the freezing conditions continue into the weekend? Chief Weather Specialist Elisabeth Herring joins us now in the studio with the details on what's ahead in today's MCTV forecast. Elizabeth?
Thanks, Elena. Well, a nice clear afternoon here at Texas Tech. Those clouds finally beginning to move away. It's slightly warmer than it was yesterday, but we're still under 32 degrees. And yesterday, we didn't even get out of the 20s. Yesterday, our high was 23, low 9 degrees, so pretty close to our record of 2 degrees. And if you were outside at all yesterday, you know it felt colder than 9 degrees. The wind chill was -10 to -15. So as we come up out of this week, I am sure we are ready to be done with those cold temperatures. And we are not the only ones affected by these cooler temperatures. Many areas of Texas also are as well and are still not out of those freezing temperatures. However, as we head into tonight, it's going to dip down once again, so a cold walk to classes tomorrow morning. But here locally in Lubbock, we are going to get just above freezing tomorrow, 35 at 3 p.m. on Friday, and a few other areas throughout the South Plains as well. And again, another cold night dipping back down into the lower 20s. And then Saturday, everyone in the South Plains finally coming up out of the freezing temperatures. Right now, we've been under 32 for almost 72 hours, so this will definitely be a relief. Mid-50s Saturday afternoon, and then we'll warm up once again on Sunday. Well, we had some snow on Wednesday morning. I'm sure you noticed that if you walked to class, and that did move out of the area by Wednesday afternoon. Cloudy still yesterday, and those clouds were hanging around this morning. They're beginning to move out this afternoon. As we head into this weekend, Saturday mid-afternoon, we should see much more of a clearing in those clouds. Well, tonight here locally in Lubbock, low of 11 degrees. Tomorrow, high of 38, so finally getting just above freezing and seeing some sunshine as well. As we head into our weekend, we're going to continue warming up. Saturday, high of 58. Sunday, back in the 70s with a high of 72. Low still pretty chilly, below freezing, so keep that in mind if you have any outdoor plans. As we head into next week, warming up even more on Monday, high of 84 degrees. Tuesday, high of 72. Wednesday, staying in the lower 70s with a high of 70. Thursday, cooling off just a bit with a high of 65. Lows in the 40s for next week. And while it does seem like we are warming up, we do sometimes see another freeze as we head into early spring. So you can put away the winter jackets for next week, but just keep up with the weather as we keep going into the rest of our winter and early spring season. I'm Elizabeth, and it's back to Aaron and Elena.
Thanks, Elizabeth. This week's extreme weather has not directly affected any sporting events on campus, but a couple of Tech teams had some ice-cold results after facing another round of conference competition.
MCTV's Allie Scott has a look at the latest scores and highlights along with a preview of a busy weekend of competition ahead in sports. Allie?
Thank you, Elena and Aaron. It was a hard week for the Red Raiders, but that did not slow down star players and teams from breaking records, making headlines, and running up the rankings. Let's dive in. The freshly ranked number 9 Red Raider basketball team fell short in a nail-biting defeat against the TCU Horned Frogs in Fort Worth on Tuesday. The 69-66 loss makes the Red Raiders 6-2 in Big 12 road games. The Red Raiders only trailed by 8 at halftime and came back to have a 59-54 lead with 7 minutes remaining in the game after Darian Williams made a layup. However, TCU regained their lead and took away the win. Coach Grant McCaslin said he knew the team had an understanding of what it took to win, but they simply just ran out of gas.
We took the lead in the second half with about 7 minutes to go and felt like we'd put our stamp on what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it, but just didn't have the grit that it takes to win on the road.
This loss came just a little less than a week after the Red Raiders' double overtime three-figure win against the Arizona State Sun Devils. Darian Williams led the team with 21 points and 5 assists. Chance McMillan, not far behind, collected 19 points, while JT Toppin collected 14 points with 11 rebounds. This week found JT Toppin on top of the headlines as he was Big 12 Player and Newcomer of the Week, along with the AP Player of the Week. After collecting an average of 36.5 points in the Red Raiders' pair of wins against the Sun Devils and Oklahoma State Cowboys. More highlights came from many more players on the team, as this marked Williams' 6th straight game with 20 or more points, collecting 1,007 points through the 91 games of his career. Texas Tech returns home this weekend to face off against the West Virginia Mountaineers on Saturday at noon in the United Supermarkets Arena. Then next week is the game everyone is looking forward to as we host the Houston Cougars on ESPN's Big Monday at 8 p.m. The Red Raiders beat Houston on their home court in an overtime win on February 1st. Lady Raider basketball had another tough loss yesterday against the Cincinnati Bearcats in a close game with the final score of 59-56. Guard Jasmine Shavers led the team with 22 points, making this her 34th game with scoring in the double digits. Juniors Kyla Freelon and Seringe Sanago led in rebounds, with each of them picking up 7 of the astonishing 41 rebounds of the night. The Lady Raiders also showed off some great defensive skills as they cut the Bearcats' lead scorer Jillian Hayes to just 5 points, diminishing her 16.4 average points per game. The Lady Raiders are back on the road this weekend as they head to Orlando, Florida to face off against the University of Central Florida Knights on Saturday afternoon. The Red Raider baseball team is coming off 3 tough losses to the North Carolina Tar Heels as they begin to prepare for their home opener at Dan Law Field. But the Red Raiders are looking to make a comeback. The Red Raiders will play the University of California Irvine on Friday at 2 p.m., Saturday at 2 p.m., and Sunday at 1 p.m. On the other hand, the softball team has had a strong start to their season, and they will also have a packed home opener this weekend. Last Saturday, softball pitcher Samantha Leakin threw a perfect game against the University of Massachusetts, giving a positive outlook for the team. They will start play against Detroit Mercy on Friday at 3 p.m. On Saturday, the team faces the University of Illinois Chicago and Indiana at noon and 2:30 p.m. respectively. And then on Sunday, Tech will finish out the weekend tournament against Indiana and the University of Texas El Paso at 11:30 a.m. and 2 o'clock p.m. respectively. That's all for Texas Tech Sports. Now back to Aaron.
Thanks, Allie. The current round of freezing weather may be a hard reminder that winter is not over, but believe it or not, the start of the spring break is now under a month away. And if you're still sorting through your travel plans, one university group may have an option for you. Every year, Parent and Family Relations partners with BreakShuttle.com to offer affordable bus trips during the spring break holiday. This year, the buses will make stops in Austin, Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio on Saturday, March 15th, with return trips to Lubbock from each destination scheduled on the following, Sunday, March 23rd. All trips leaving from Texas Tech will take off at 9 a.m. from the R11 band lot located behind the sub. One-way tickets vary in cost, with prices increasing as the break gets closer. Right now, prices range from $155 to or from Austin and San Antonio, or $160 to or from Dallas. The Houston return trip currently has spots available for $168, but seats on the bus to H-Town are already sold out. The remaining trips currently have tickets available, but seats are limited. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit BreakShuttle.com.
So Aaron, have you made plans for spring break?
I'm planning on just going back home and seeing the family. How about you?
Very nice. I think I'll stay in Lubbock for the spring break.
Oh, that sounds fun.
That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next week.